I read. This is David Newer, and I'm having a conversation with my friend that I call Lau Red. And we like to talk about things that are interesting to us. And by interesting, I would mean things that have the potential to transform our personal realities, to make quantum shifts and to open up and flow freely. And so each time we do this, we just have to, you don't plan ahead. What you do is you open up and then assess, pay attention to what is going on within your experience of yourself. And you let go of the things that are going on out there. Because when you're willing to take a moment of your time and actually focus it on what brings you freedom, what brings you peace, what brings you an experience of fully being present, without being full of questions and confusion. Be here in your consciousness, the wholeness of what it is to be you. So the obvious question for me is, if I can connect to and experience that state, why would I not stay there? Why would I revert back to a norm that is, seriously struggling? So there seems to be an availability of being able to have an experience of and repeat that experience of whatever the next state of opening into a greater freedom and self-awareness than you have been. We can sample that. And so what do we have to do here to complete this experience so that we can then transcend to the next? Well, there has to be a completion. It's like a video game. You have to complete that level before you can go on to the next. And so what does it take to complete the level that you're on, would be the question. And cheat codes are okay, as long as they're true. And to take the point of view that you're already complete, that your life is already fulfilled, that you've already accomplished everything you came here to accomplish, if you came here to accomplish anything. Did you come from somewhere else even? Who knows? But your ability to know the truth is, what you put your focus on. How can I actually perceive accurately this reality and whatever else, is asking me for my attention? How is it that you can experience a connection with someone from a particular reality or particular limited point of view that's got a bunch of tendencies that you should pay attention to because, they're not acting from a state of grace, let's say. So in life then, who do we deal with? Why do we deal with them? Where do we go? Where we go? if your intent is to go beyond what's normal for the collective human reality, and embrace whatever the infinite potential is of human consciousness and human life, then if you put your attention on that, you don't have a lot in common with the average person, and so it's kind of a solo journey. Finally coming to the realization that there's nothing about you that's real or true. And in that, what you're experiencing is a fabrication. It's this life story. It was, you came here and somehow got knocked unconscious, so that you were experiencing reality as a recipient of all types of communication: mental, spiritual, auditory. And all of it was explaining to you the way things are from a point of view that, it's really still confused about what and who and if they are themselves. Anything real. And so when we come down to the realization that there's nothing real about our self-image, our personality, our story, and it's all a fabrication. It's whatever's real and true about us through eternity and universally is covered up by being overly focused on a manufactured story and identity that, when you put it on, says, this is everything there is about you, this body and the history of it, where it came from. So at some point, if we're really lucky, we get to say, the end, and give that arrow that was flying through the air, through life, as a representative of you moving through your life. You give it a target before you die, and that target's right here, right now, and you just hit it. And hitting that target says you're complete, exactly the way you are. Everything that you think is wrong with you, everything you think that's has a regret, you can let all that be resolved in the moment of now by opening into everything. Let this persona die in your opening into an experiential understanding of what's actual and real and true about you as an eternal being. So let's just say thank you to everything that brought us to this moment. And say, we're complete. Thank you for your assistance, your attention, your concerns or your intentions, good or bad. Thank you for all of that. And let everybody that has their attention stuck on you automatically know that you're completed work now, and their attention is no longer needed to influence you to act in any particular way or think any particular thing. So you just let this, instead of using the sword and cutting the lines and being all violent about it, just allow them and you to be complete with each other in a beautiful way that benefited everybody. Yeah. Then you can begin to move and breathe freely. You know, now you've got a measure of internal freedom. Now you've emptied part of that cup that can now be filled with knowledge, understanding. You know, a space where you can just notice the beauty of you. And notice that as you let everything go, unconditional love is all you feel. So let go of your life, everything about it, everything about you, everything about anyone or anything you've ever been connected to. Allow yourself to die so that you can awaken into your truth. Yeah, everything's over. Everything's done. Everything's complete. You just died. So, good luck, everybody. All these stuck energies. You got a dead, rotting body here now. So, safe journeys. So, whatever it is that's unconscious within you, light it up. Be present. Notice what it is. Notice why it's there. Notice when it got there. Notice what incomplete intention it has in regards to you. And find a way to allow that to be delivered in such a way that you go, wow, thank you, I get it. I appreciate it. Bless you, safe journeys. Resolve things divinely with all the attachments that need to be let go of. And that's easier said than done, but you do it in the moment of now. And things just keep opening up, and the flow gets bigger. The relief gets more cathartic. And every time you begin to think something or act out whatever this instinctual thing is that you've been made, every time you try to revert back to remembering yourself as that and experiencing yourself as that, well, look at that, you can't do it anymore. How much of your truth do you have to open into and experience until you can't go back to your lies anymore? So the completion of what's been your current reality, She had the most beautiful death I ever saw. It was exquisite. It was loving, it was blissful, it was anticipatory, and there was now going to be an even more incredible way to celebrate life than what you had been doing. So, goodbye, Laurina. Your only problem was you were a little too successful. And having some success and some expertise in any one particular area where your ego gets some gratification that you're doing well and looked at favorably by some group, and you live there. You know, did you come here to be a story? Or did you come here to live a truth that exhilarates you and everybody else, and, you know, shares some space and time with you, you know? What would that be? It would be something that is a real clear apple from the tree of your eternal nature. That consciousness is the same as the universe's consciousness. You know, a consciousness that supports all creation. Plant, life, mineral, chemical. And it all gets to do whatever it wants to do within the limitations of what it defines its capabilities as. But all it is a bunch of matter and God, and there is no matter that God doesn't surround in every possible way. There's nothing you could perceive that God isn't there as that. Especially within your experience of yourself. So if you start feeling those tensions, those pains, those sorrows, those regrets, that as they come up, if you see them as, oh, thank God, here's some more fuel for the fire of transformation, and you just love it into moving as part of this new bliss that you're beginning to experience within yourself. So anything that's not that, oh goody, here's something that we can love into bliss. In the only place you got absolute permission to make unlimited change in this universe is the space that you can feel when you close your eyes. And feel every aspect of your physicality. You're free to transform the inner experience of that without restriction. And how? By continually realizing that you're dead. All life springs forth from you. All life is sustained and supported by you. But you're the potential of everything. And until your body experiences that truth in a deep enough manner, then you'll be acting out an old story. Which we all do. Until we don't. Being able to say no to the right question. And being able to say yes. To your being dead with the past. To your being open right now. For you to experience a transformational, fundamental shift into truth from a universal experience of the eternal. I know it shouldn't be so hard to let go of all this stuff, but it seems to be a bit of a process, that there's so much of this impacted in the body. It's just, it's great when a really beautiful hemorrhage gene bag of shit that you found inside you wakes up and says, oh, okay, we're taking ourselves out, thank you. And you let it go. You got a hole or more emptiness in that cup where you can notice the universal and the eternal to a greater degree, because you let go of the lie of identity. I'm willing to be the last one, so long as everyone else is already awake. And if everybody else is already awake, and how could you possibly know whether they were or not? If this universe conforms to a mirror of what you experience of yourself, then how could you possibly know what's beyond that mirror, that automatically adjusts to you? What's the rest of the universe actually like without your bad influence? Right? I mean, if you were being bright like the sun and just blessing everybody everywhere all the time, and it's as far as light can go, then you get less resistance. There wouldn't be any in yourself, because you'd be on purpose, and that is, you love it all. And at the same time, in the life that you're living as, you're choosing to be present in your wholeness, in your truth. That ends the past, because it's a quantum leap. It's a fundamental shift from a fabricated reality to an actual one. So you can call it awakening or enlightenment or self-realization, or it doesn't matter what you call it. The only thing that matters is whether you experience it or not. And so if you quit trying to define anything and you're just open to experience something that is feels like home, safety, holiness, bliss, love, compassion, charity, and fun, joy, and play, celebration. So if there's a divine celebration of life and consciousness going on, and I'm the only one that's not experiencing it, I want in. I want to end the charade I've been living and actually come home without throwing the body away, having a human experience. This one of absolute clarity. And why not? All you gotta do is die. Right now. And let everything go. Anything that disables you in any way is not worth holding on to. I'm not saying that you run away from anything. You just gotta let that identity go. Let the personality go, let the memories go. By letting them go, I mean there's no more significance to any of this. Okay? There's no more worry about it. It's like you actually died. But you gotta let everything go that defines life for you, for yourself, from a point of view of limitation, or God forbid that you're in conflict within your experience of yourself and one part of you is battling another. You know, to transcend out of that, you know, you gotta come to peace with yourself, and it's done through noticing it, looking at it, feeling it, understanding it from every point of view, noticing why it exists and what perpetuates it. Notice who any of the other players are, if they're something other than something that's within your experience of yourself. It's how you clean your temple, you know, energetically, consciously. This is the other side of the coin to the one where you need to use your body, where you need to push it into an opening, you know, by stretching yourself and opening more and more and more. So it's the same thing as that, except you do it effortlessly. You can't try to do it. All you can really do is just stay there in your noticing and stop stopping it from happening. You know, just relax and allow yourself to experience a transformational experience. To do is not say no. Stay in noticing the opening. And notice the transformation that happens when you let it. All you have to do is stop stopping it. It's really simple. Stop trying to fit in and expand out like a balloon that's been dipped into liquid nitrogen. collapse back as if it had no air in it whatsoever. That's what we've been. We've been that collapsed expression of ourselves, collapsed back down into a pre-expression point. And then when we're done with being collapsed, we stop agreeing with that by deciding that you don't have to keep creating that for yourself by condemning yourself in any way. Since you're dead and you can't change anything anyway, stop condemning yourself for the past. Because you're not yourself anyway. You know, that you keep grabbing onto that idea that you're this perception that you become familiar with. You know, this is how I see things. This is how I feel things. This is how I understand things through this body. Well, what if it could be a lot better? You gotta let your expertise go too. Everything that you actually value about yourself. Everything that you're proud of. And everything that you love. Well, and the cool thing is that when you do that, you didn't lose anything but the pain and suffering. You're not lacking anything. There's nothing preventing you to communicating with anyone, anywhere, anytime you wish to. So what did you lose? Nothing. Nothing but suffering. So be done with yourself. Be done with the past. Don't say no to the transformation. Just notice it. And stay open. Stay in the opening of surrender. You can only really define yourself, you know, when you get really solid and locked into something. But explore your body in such a way that you get to know it well enough that you begin to understand its mysteries and it begins to be free of your inattention, you know. Because your body should be in charge of a lot of things that it should be directing you as to what to do to assist it in the easiest way. You know, as a consciousness, how do you serve your body well? Well, you know it, you understand it, you listen to it, you do the things that are obvious. You move it correctly, You protect it correctly. You feed it correctly. Physically, mentally, visually. And what do you feed it? You feed it nothing. As long as your focus is on becoming something that you're not. Because everything that we're talking about is something that you already are and always have been. It's just the noticing of that that's been off. All you have to do is move back into the noticing of the real you. The one that you always wished that you could be, that you could measure up to, that you could somehow, in a miraculous way, become. That's why all those wishes and blessings and prayers are granted as far as a person's willing to open up and experience it. They're granted because it doesn't have to be granted. It's already real, and all anybody has to do is look at their own truth. That they're, first of all, that they're nothing, and second of all, that they're everything. A body's a body, a body, a body, 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 body. There's bodies everywhere. And then there's a universal consciousness that permeates them all. And somehow there is some sort of individuated perception point, but if you go all the way, how do you come back into this reality? Who do you come back in as? What do you do when you come here? It's not something you figure out from before you decide to dive in that abyss or not. You know, but you already killed yourself, you know. What's still going on? Let that go. Yeah, that core thing that's been so problematic. That unconfronted suffering, you know. Thing that was just too bad to ever look at. Well, now we can look at it. And love the fact that we're conscious enough to love the experience of feeling that awakening from the abyss of damnation to the celebration of life and consciousness. Opening up everything that was closed, breaking all the dams, restoring the free flow. By doing nothing about it but watching as we say, okay, I'm willing. I'll open to the transformation and let it happen. You don't have to pray to anybody. You don't have to read any books. Just when you realize that you stopped it, open up again. Allow your transformation to continue in each moment of your noticing of your life. You're already dead. You might as well go ahead and have the energy transform into whatever that new you is. You know, so set it all free. All the electricity, all the electromagnetic stuff, all of the, everything that powers your body and reality, and allow it to know that, you know, there's been a completion. The target's been hit. This is it. New orders coming shortly. Take a break. In the beginning, I was going to say something like, you know, obviously there's absolutely nothing worth saying that's worth anybody hearing, because all I'm doing is validating the lie that I am and validating the lie that you are, and communicating on a level of insanity. You know, so why do we even have this whole conversation? Because we're still fucking pretending. So there you go. The pretense only goes away when we stop pretending. And it doesn't take effort to stop. It takes effort to stay in hell. You have to keep swimming upstream to stay in hell, or the water just takes you back home. So quit swimming. Your little red herring fish that you are just died. And now it's flowing with the current. And it's giving away everything that it is to everything else that wants any part of it. Becoming one with the ocean again. All those remaining stuck energies in your body, everything that's been raising its hand and hasn't been acknowledged yet, you know, just give them all a, oh yeah, okay, I feel you, I see you, I hear you. And stay in that opening, in that yes, in that surrender. And that I'm not stopping this from resolving itself right now. And just feel it all, and let it all resolve simultaneously. They don't even have to take turns. Just let it all happen now. Easily. There was so much shit in my shitty life. You know, I know you're not supposed to carry shit around, you know, it's not like it's valuable to us. It's, you know, when you have an ordered, kind of clean life, you know, keeping shit around seems counterproductive. So, instead of talking about it, Let's just notice the rest of the shit that we've got. And stop perpetuating it. Open right there in the midst of all that shit and allow it to transform by itself, without your pushing it or pulling it or begging it or praying for it or attentioning it, anything. Just stay and witness dispassionately. Without trying to make it happen, only watching. Takes a little practice, doesn't it? To only watch. To not try to help. To not take a side and say, should there be an opening? Should there be a closing? Should there be a punishment? Should there be a reward? You know, who thinks like that? Not the real you. So let all those aspects of you that know when you should be punished and does it. Feel all those. And stop creating them. Stop giving them a purpose. Stop giving them instructions on how they can serve you. Say, red is dead. Long live red. Set them free. They don't need to educate you or punish you anymore. Whatever it is, whether it's electricity or energy or many thought particles or, you know, who cares what the definition is? It's something that's not part of your free flow. And so you let it go. You quit trapping it inside you. And you keep watching until you notice that the free flow has found a pathway through you. And it's getting bigger and bigger the more that this little bit of grace finds it to flow freely through you somewhere, somehow. And you'll just watch it and let it. Don't try to open the way for it. Don't try to shut yourself down or protect anything from it. You just notice grace flowing. No, that's a big shift for me. I'm not saying I'm all the way into it. All I'm saying is that grace flowing is an experience I'd like to understand on a deeper, more fundamental level as something that is associated with me. would a state of grace be consistent with whatever the truth of you actually is? I would think that that infinite potential of manifestation of creation that's actually the truth of you, that when that consciousness opens and begins to blossom within a particular living body, that body, has all the rights in the world to let every previous program of limitation and suffering and lack and anything other than clarity, truth, and love go. That's what my guts are saying. So I think this is the recipe of what it takes for me to finish freeing up my body, because it's these things that have been impinging on it and shutting it down. So how's this been feeling for you as you've been listening to me and going through whatever your experiences are? What's your experience been?
It's very on point with exactly what I'm feeling. Everything you said.
Okay, good, thank you.
Somehow it's very targeted.
Well, I appreciate you asking me for the session, because I didn't have one scheduled and I wouldn't have done one otherwise, and I wouldn't have gotten the benefit I did out of this. So I'm not quite sure what aspects of myself I didn't quite kill, but I'm going to continue on and make sure I'm not perpetuating anything needlessly. But at any rate, let's see, how long have we been going? 53 minutes, almost a normal session.
Same boat.
Well, that boat should sail away into the sunset.
Yes.
And they lived happily ever after.
Yes.
Something like that.
Something like that.
So everything that you're letting go of, everything that you feel, everything that's not consistent with your wholeness and your presence in a magnificent way. This is their party. This is their departing party. Let them celebrate the end of a nicely completed task on their part, influencing you to manifest exactly as you did. fulfilling whatever purpose you'd given them. Because everything that impinges you is ultimately serving your purpose, regardless of who did it to you. They were your henchmen, doing to you what you wanted. So having had those experiences, do you need to condemn yourself for having had them? I don't think so. If the only consciousness is God consciousness, then who can condemn God about perceiving reality through a unique point of view of a living thing and experiencing what it is to be that from that point of view and those limited characteristics? Now, if that influences the animal to consider the ultimate question for itself, and that is, what would I experience myself to be if my experience of myself was the universal and eternal self that fills the universe, potentiates everything, loves and supports everything, and what's it like for that to wake up as you let it happen and find out? You don't have to figure out how to make it happen. All you have to do is talk about it and then let it. And if it's actually what's eternally and universally true of you, all you're doing is taking off the mask and letting go of the lies and the pretenses. You're not creating anything. All you're doing is ending the lie and revealing the truth of you to yourself. You're not making up a new story. You're not going to have to learn a new role. All you've got to do is allow eternal and universal truth to be at home within the experience of you. And all you have to do is not say no. To watch it happen. Now, how long you have to do that, I don't know. But I know each time we do this, it's better than the last time. It just keeps getting better and better, freer and freer, lighter and lighter. So that's why we do this every day. Because why not? You know, we're doing this every day so that we can soon live every day without having to try to be free. Without having to try to be wise and enlightened and aware and conscious. We just are. And so, what if that was the final trick? What if we just are? And leave it at that. And allow everything to go into a harmonic resonance with that. The truth of you is exactly that. So let everything else go into a resonance with that. Quit owning any of it and trying to get everybody to configure with something less. Be the whole truth. All of it. Quit taking sides. The Cowboys are not God's team. Just America's. Well, I guess we're good. If anybody ever watches this, everything I talked about is for you to experience as I'm saying things within your own body, within your own mind, and to have that experience of actually being complete. You know, that death of the false self, actually die. You know, let it happen in your experiencing it. And take off that old snake skin and let the new shiny one, you know, be there. All we're doing is shedding the old skin and revealing the new one. And we do that all the time. It's a move of yin and yang where there's creation and destruction at the same time in each moment. But, you know, what's being destroyed is that which is no longer as useful as what you just created. And it's just being recycled into more and more beautiful ways of being. So nothing's ever lost. Nothing's ever rejected. You're not condemning anyone or anything. All you're doing is experiencing yourself being the sun. You know, it's just, and you just let it happen. Doesn't matter whether the hydrogen's transforming into helium or oxygen's transforming into something else. It's transformation, and it's the physical reflection of the infinite possibilities. You know, just what's next? What's next, right? So be the what's next girl, you know, with infinite options. You know, where when one of your clients are stuck, you just go, hey, have you thought about this? Obviously. And you know, in each circumstance, when you're serving others, you're serving them in a way that they would most like to receive it, you know. And everybody would actually like to have and experience that really kind of instantaneous, miraculous shift into a way where they suffer a whole lot less, and they become more able, you know, to create the reality that they want for themselves. You know, what if you were actually super, super good at that, where they only needed one session with you? They came back to the truth of themselves, and now they know what to do for themselves. I'll sign up for one of those sessions. Not two, though, because if it doesn't work in one, I'm not going to believe you anymore. Just one. I guess there's a caveat in that they have to be open to it. But on the other hand, they're already open to it. That's the dilemma. They are open. You just don't know where they're open.
Exactly.
And so that's the job of the therapist, is to say, okay, this client's fucked up and they're hoping that I can help in some way, but they have an idea of what that way is that would be meaningful to them and pleasant for them to experience and cathartic for them to, they want to experience a healing. And so, how would you like to experience the end of what you're complaining about? Have that be complete and over and done. So if you want to be complete and over and done with it, then let's take a look at what it takes for you to be in completion with this. Let's talk about that. Let's just notice the energy of that, Does that hit things accurately from you, that you actually are ready to be done with your trauma, with your conflict, done with your suffering? Well then, if that's the case, look but don't touch. Embrace but don't hold on to. Awaken into that which was known, that which was in the darkness, that which was hiding from itself. And be there consciously, and don't do anything except be there and notice. And feel everything melting away. Okay, I'm going to say good enough on this one.